I don't know about you, but the modern world feels very alien to me sometimes. And it has felt like this to me for quite a while now. On one hand, I feel like I can accomplish anything in the world if I just put my mind and effort into it. And on another, I can't even decide what I should be doing in the first place. Sure, it feels nice to learn something new, dive deeper into what we already knew, and keep upskilling ourselves to flex on our contacts on social media or meet the demands of the modern work landscape. But what are we actually doing with all this information? Are we even learning anything at all if you're not putting all this information we consume into practice? I'll tell you the answer. The answer is no, we aren't. All that we're doing is giving ourselves the endless student syndrome. You know, the syndrome that you often wear as a badge of honor. I'm an eternal student, you say. But deep down inside, a part of you knows that this is actually a very clever form of procrastination. And it's called procrastination because you know that it's not what you should be doing. And the reason you're doing it, that is mindlessly learning new things, is because you're too afraid of going out into the real world and actually doing something. Look, information today is abundant and worthless. Unless you actually know how to filter out the information, apply it in real time, it'll never turn into knowledge and experience. And you know what they say about experience. Experience is the best teacher. You don't have a learning problem, you have an execution problem. But lucky for you, I'm here to help you out of this trap of being an eternal student with some examples from my own life. In this video, I'm going to talk about why people fall into the trap of being an eternal student and how you can come out of it if you find yourself suffering from it. This video can be of help to everyone. It doesn't matter if you're an official student, have a job pursuing a certain trade, a freelancer, or if you're someone like me, someone who owns a business and makes his money online. Okay, so why do people fall into the trap of endless learning? There can be two reasons actually. Number one, because they're unaware and think that learning another thing, then another will help them achieve their professional goals. And number two, because it's so damn comfortable and convincing, isn't it? I mean, just think about it. Why bother feeling guilty after playing video games, binging Netflix, or watching conspiracy theory videos on YouTube when you can feel productive by buying a new course, buying another book, or watching your favorite creator explain your favorite topic? Look, the reason the trap of endless learning is so deadly is because, unlike the typical cycle of procrastination and mindless media consumption, this one makes you feel like you're doing something with your life. When the matter of fact is, unless you actually put your learnings to practice, you're doing nothing. Zilch, nada. Practice is the bare minimum, and if you want to actualize your highest self, you gotta take what you learned and squeeze every last drop of it in pursuit of your greatest desires. Does that make sense? To state an example from my own life, I've noticed that even now I get unknowingly stuck in the information consumption loop, in tutorial hell, so to speak. I think the last time I realized this was when I was just thinking about making these videos. On one hand, I knew that I wanted to publish regularly, and on another, I had this extreme desire of making every video a visual spectacle. So I'd start by doing what every person would do in my shoes, watch tutorials on YouTube. And before you know it, I'd spend the whole day going into this rabbit hole, watching experts explain how to light a scene. When in reality, I don't even need that skill to publish regularly. All I need to know is how to write well, speak convincingly in front of the camera, and a little bit of lighting. Sure, lighting is a great skill to have. I know. I mean, I lit my room, didn't I? But what's the point if I'm not gonna put it to use? That's how being in this trap looks like. You watch one video and then you go on to the next one and the next one, hoping that it's the last video you'll finally have to watch to finally get that missing piece of info that would change everything. But by now, you know what happens if you do that. Okay, now that we've talked about why, let's get to the how. How can you avoid or break free of this cycle of endless learning as a means of procrastination? The first thing you must be crystal clear about is what is keeping you from solving your most immediate and important problem. If you're learning something new, it's probably because you want to solve a problem you currently have, right? It could be a health problem, a money problem, a relationship problem. And to tackle those problems, you could be learning new skills or trying to adopt a different mindset. And there's nothing wrong with that. The problems, however, start appearing when you don't have a clear idea of your most important and immediate problem. What does that mean? That means you're either confused or don't have your priorities straight. If your problem is being overweight, reading more and more books or watching more and more videos on everything, ranging from exercise to diet to supplements, isn't going to make you lose weight. Learning about those things might release those feel-good chemicals in your brain, but to actually make some progress, you have to solve your most immediate problem. That is, your problem of getting your kicks from constantly learning about new tips and tricks while ignoring the fact that you also need to do two other things: move your lazy ass and count your daily calories. If you have a problem with saving money, you need to learn about saving money and then control your impulses about buying. Not go deep down into the rabbit hole of cryptos and get rich quick schemes. If you have a problem with earning money, you need to do something to earn it, not learn another skill or wait around for the perfect opportunity. See where I'm going with this? To stop being an eternal student, you have to figure out your most immediate problem and then solve it before moving on to something else. The second thing you can do to avoid falling into this trap is build something, teach someone else, or have a side hustle. One of the best ways to retain what you learn is to teach it to someone else, right? But in my opinion, using your newfound knowledge to work on your own personal project or start a side hustle is even better. That's because you're taking action. And in exchange for taking action, you're either getting feedback or getting rewarded for it. There's no better feedback loop for the brain than that, to keep you engaged, motivated, or even course correct if needed. Many years ago, when I had a full-time job as a writer that didn't pay me all that well, I started a side hustle to get some additional projects here and there. And I can tell you now for certain that working on that side hustle taught me more about writing content and copy than working at that full-time job, because A, I had the opportunity to work with clients in a broad range of industries, and B, I received the feedback that was necessary to keep me motivated and improve my skills. That feedback sometimes came in the form of healthy criticism, sometimes as honest and thoughtful appreciation, and sometimes came in the form of more money, which is my favorite form of feedback. Eventually, that side hustle allowed me to quit the job and turn it into my main gig, which then turned into a business that made more than 250K per year and employed dozens of people. Now, think about this. What would have happened if I hadn't started my side hustle and just stuck to my day job? Or what would have happened if I never even got that job and just kept my writing skills to myself? Nothing is the answer. The third thing you can do to avoid falling into the trap of the endless student syndrome is practice in public. Yeah, if you've learned something new and useful, show it off or get feedback. For you to get good at anything, you need feedback. And this has now become easier than ever thanks to different kinds of social media platforms, if you're using them wisely, that is. If I want feedback for my writing, I can post an article on Medium or answer a question on Quora. If I want feedback for my videos, I can then turn that article into a script and then shoot and upload that video on YouTube. If I want feedback for my video like this one from my friends, I can share it on Facebook. There's so much you can do to get feedback nowadays that it's crazy. Even though growing on a single platform is tougher than ever now, getting feedback and continually improving will help get the ball rolling. Then it's a matter of how long you can have a go at it before you decide enough is enough, or don't. So if you have a skill or a talent, don't be shy or embarrassed to show it off. You might be surprised to learn that many people would gladly take the place you're in right now, possessing the same set of skills or talents. Besides, practicing in public just makes sense. It opens the doors to so many new opportunities. In the current generation where attention is currency, your ability to get attention, any kind of attention, will put you miles ahead of those who can't. This is why making videos or producing content in general has been on the top of my to-do list for quite a long time now. I'm gonna be honest here, I'm glad to say that I'm finally making it all happen. Even though I have less than 20 subscribers because YouTube doesn't show my content to anyone. Okay, so those were the 3 things you can do to avoid or escape the trap of being an endless student. Now, before I end this video, if I could just take a couple of more minutes of your time, I'd like to tell you how I avoid falling into this trap while still learning something new every day. As a writer, storyteller, video editor, founder, chronic procrastinator, all rolled into one. And not to forget a cat parent. So my day begins pretty early, between 5 to 6 a.m. And the first thing I do right after waking up is tend to the most immediate and important problem. Work that I find takes the most amount of skill and willpower. Writing. I don't brush my teeth, grab a cup of coffee, I don't go on a walk, I don't do anything for the first 1.5 to 2 hours. By 8 a.m., I'd have already written at least 700 to 1000 words, depending on the complexity of the script. And I'm done writing for the day. That's it. I then brush my teeth, make a cup of coffee, and get back to work within 30 minutes. From 8:30 to 9:30, I usually either read or create storyboards for my Instagram animations. I grab breakfast sometime between that. From 10 a.m., it's office hours. So I'll be on Discord with my team discussing the storyboards, offering feedback and corrections. This goes on till 11 a.m. Then I go hit the gym and come back home by 1 a.m. After that, shower and lunch, and I'm back to work by 2 to 2:30 p.m. Then it's more coordination with the team while doing something routine, let's say extracting short clips for Instagram or doing a bit of sound design. I'll take a short nap on some days from, let's say, 4:30 to 5:30, and then have one more session with the team and get the reports for that day. After dark, I'll usually shoot a video and send it for chopping later on. On most days, I work till 8. Some days, I work till 10:30 or 11. Grab dinner sometime in the middle and then go to sleep. Rinse and repeat the process the next day with obvious tweaks whenever necessary. Now, you might be thinking, where the heck is learning in between all of this? To that, my answer would be, it's everywhere. Everything I described here is dynamic in nature, right from starting the day with writing till the time my body clocks off at night. Writing requires research, reading requires attention, exercise requires effort, creating storyboards and helping out with feedback for animation requires research, attention, effort, and a lot of creativity and brain power. And when we're talking about YouTube videos, you know where I'm going with this. The point is, I don't linger on learning something needlessly anymore. I learn, put it to practice, and move on. The whole process happens without me even thinking. My day starts by doing something that requires the most amount of effort, will, and brain power. That is writing, and then it slowly goes down and down and down to the most routine and mundane of tasks. If you try to do the same, I can guarantee you'll have a better and a more productive day overall. Well, that's about it for today's video. If you've learned something today, give me a thumbs up and leave a comment. And share this video with a friend if it's helpful. I appreciate you all for watching till the end. See ya.